I'm laughing. Hey guys, it's Kara here with Kinsley's Creative Palette, and I am so excited. I know I only have 20 minutes to show you a fun project, and this project is going to take you longer than 20 minutes, but I want to show you all of the techniques that you're going to need to know in order to do it. Hey Ginger! So the first thing I'm doing is if you watched my Porch Leaner video yesterday, then you know some of these techniques. If you did not watch my Porch Leaner video yesterday, this will all probably be new for you. Hey Rebecca, hey Jolene, y'all make sure to like and share so that we can get some more creative love over Facebook. I have painted, okay, so if you were around yesterday, you saw this side of the sign. Hello friends. All right, and that one has attachments so that you can change them for the seasons. Welcome everybody. I'm gonna try to go fast, but I was gonna show you, these are, for the other side, these are the attachments that we showed yesterday. But this side is gonna be just Christmas. So what I've done is I've painted my board red. Now I'm gonna zoom out so that you can see, but I've painted my board red and I'm gonna show you the technique using the stencil and also using the graphite paper and tracing our letters on. Okay, so let me back up. Let's see. Today is football Saturday, so my husband and my son are in the other room watching football, so if you hear some like hollering and craziness, that's why. All right, so I've got to grab my black paint and I'm gonna thin it out. I'm gonna use a plate for this and I'm gonna squirt it on here and I'm going to thin it out. Now, I did not really introduce who I am. I am Kara from Kinsley's Creative Palette, and I teach women how to use creativity in their everyday lives so that they can be more relaxed. And I do that through painting door hangers. So, I'm gonna show you guys how to use a stencil, and we're gonna do that from the bottom. So, I painted this board red. I used Liquitex Basics. What I love about this paint is if I'm in a hurry and I can only do one coat, this paint right here does it for me. So I can still see my wood grain a little bit through here, but you're welcome, but I can do one coat and I'm happy with it. So I have linked tons of links for y'all for the products that I'm using, the size wood I'm using, and all of that, but I will be available to answer questions later if you have them. Okay, so I have put some black paint on here and I've thinned it out. Now I'm gonna start at the very bottom and I'm just gonna line my stencil up. I think I want it, yep, I want it like that. And I'm just going to up and down. I don't want it to move too much. I got most of my paint off of my sponge, and I'm using a sponge from Dollar Tree that I cut in pieces, and this is my favorite way to stencil, is with one of these sponges. So I'm gonna show y'all this, then I'm gonna blow dry it, and then I'm gonna show you how to do a letter. And while I'm sponging these on, we will talk through the letters that I'm using. So what I know is a lot of you don't have cutters to make your own stencils, and so what I have done is I've created a PDF download. It's on my website. I sell lots of different printables for door hangers, but I also did one for these porch leaners. So it has all 26 letters of the alphabet, so you can create any word you want. And I did welcome on the other side, and then on this side, I'm doing believe. You don't have to buy separate sets. You don't have to buy stencils for that. You can just get that pack, and it's just a printable download. And I'll show you in just a minute, after I get this one stencil traced, I'll show you how we're going to use those. I didn't realize until this morning, thank y'all so much, I didn't realize until this morning like how quickly 20 minutes goes. So I apologize for not looking at the camera and engaging. I want to make sure y'all get all of the juicy details. Because at the end of the day, if I leave you with a half-done instruction. It is going to be a half-done project because I'm not going to be able to finish in 20 minutes. But if I leave you with the instructions, it's kind of like, you know, if you teach a man to fish, he'll eat forever. So I want to make sure that that's what I'm giving you, is the instructions so that you can apply this. And guys, you can get totally creative with this, and you can do, I mean, gosh, this using stencils and these downloads, the possibilities are endless. And if you do craft parties, like let's say you do these like craft parties for local women's nights, this set is a really fun one because everybody can make their sign the way that they want to. All right, I need a little bit more black paint. I am thinning this out. So I did grab on my paintbrush, I just grabbed some water and put it on my plate so that I could thin this paint out. You don't want it so thin that it's going to go under your stencil, and you want to get most of your paint off before you up and down on your stencil. Now, what I'm not doing is I'm not squeezing all of my paint down up underneath. There will be some slight bleeding, but it's still going to be adorable. So here is, I'm almost done with this stencil. And then what you would do is you would move it up the sign to do the whole sign. So you would just buy the small stencil, which I've linked to my Amazon store. I think I linked the smaller stencil where the squares aren't quite as big. So you may have to look around because this stencil comes in several sizes. The one I have is about a 2-inch square. And I'm thinking that the one I linked this morning was like, well, I did all of my links this morning, was smaller. So you may have to look, if you want your buffalo plaid to be as big as mine, you might have to do a little digging. But I did link the Liquitex paints because I do feel like even if you're doing them at a craft party, this project will go a whole lot faster if they're not having to wait on a lot of paint to dry. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Since I only have, how much longer? I've got 12 minutes. I'm gonna lift this up. Okay, let me show y'all up close. There is some bleeding. I normally would take a little bit more time when I do this, but I wanna show you. It's still gonna be adorable. Can y'all see that? And I've got one place where I cut this stencil and one of the pieces didn't cut. So I'll go back and fix that. Thank you, Melanie, I appreciate you. All right, so I'm gonna blow dry really fast. So I'm sorry, you won't hear me for a minute. All right, and I'm gonna show you this pack that I've linked that is on my website. It is, you don't need anything special, just paper. You need just paper to print, and I cut these down. I did leave a little bit of a border at the top and the bottom. Then I got graphite paper, which I linked in my Amazon store, and I cut a sheet in half, and you can use this. You can see I've used this several times. You can use it over and over and over, but I spaced out the letters ahead of time so that I could give you the measurements. So guys, write this down. You want a 5-foot board. The board that I linked to in my description is a 10-foot board. It's the most cost-effective way to do these signs because you can get 2 pieces out of a 10-foot board. If you buy the 8-foot board, you can only get 1, and then you have a shorter piece left over. So if you're gonna be doing this sign, my suggestion is you cut 2 and you do 1 for a friend, family member, or you do them as a party, and then you know, you get 2 for less than 20 bucks because the boards are like $18. All right, so this is how we use the this is how we use the templates. I need to find the E. Now, I measured this when I did the welcome, and if you're doing 7 letters, if you're doing 7 letters, you are going to want to start 6.5 inches from the bottom, okay? So you're going to have 6.5 inches down at the bottom, 6.5 inches at the top, and what I like to do is wrap twine or rope around the top of it to make it look more rustic. But, I'm sorry, I know I'm talking fast. Paulette, I apologize. Then, I want to show you, for your next letters, you're going to be 1.5 inches from the bottom of the other letter. So when you get your ruler out, and guys, no one's going to notice if you're a little bit off. So yes, it's a 1 by 10 inch. So it's a 1 by 10 inches wide by 10 foot tall that I cut in half. All right, so from the bottom of the black to the top of the black, I need 1.5 inches. And then from the bottom of the black on the bottom letter, I need 6.5 inches, okay? Then you're gonna leave, don't ever cut the sides of these letters off because you're gonna use this to help you keep your measurement somewhat consistent. So grab your tape and you're gonna tape down one side. It doesn't matter which side, I'm gonna tape this side. So, but I'm not gonna do that letter because that's the wrong letter. Let me find my V. So I'm just gonna show y'all the V and the E. Well, maybe. Yes. No. All right, friends, I just had it. Where did it go? All right, so I'm just going to show you the E. The next letter up would obviously be a V. Where did you print those? Yes, these are a template that I made. There's all 26 letters. They're in my, they're in a link above. They are on my website, and it's $10 for the download, and you get all 26 letters, and you can print them and use them as many times as you want. So I'm going to grab a pencil, and I'm just going to trace around. Now, if you had white graphite paper, that would work even better with this project, but I'm just going to trace the outline of this letter right onto my board. And I did this, I realize I'm going fast, but I did the entire other side yesterday on a Facebook Live, and I have linked that so that if you want to be able to watch an entire project done from start to finish on one of these boards, you do have that access. Okay, so obviously when I did black on black, it's harder to see. Yes. Okay, so I've linked y'all to the stencil, I've linked you to the board that I used, and I've also linked you to these as well as the paint and all the other things. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab my Posca pen, and I've also linked you to that, and I'm literally just going to trace that line that I just made. So as soon as I'm done with this letter, I can pull it off, and then I can trace out this line that I made. Now, the white Posca pens are a little bit more transparent than the black. I will tell you, when we did the other side yesterday, these lines stand out really well. But it's a little bit harder to see with the white Posca pen. But the white Posca pens are still better. There we go. You can see that better now. Still better than any paint marker on the market. Okay, can y'all see that? No, it's a little bit far away. So I'm just going to trace all the way around it. And what I would do if it were me is I would transfer all of my letters. So I would tape them all down, and I would trace every one of them on with my graphite paper. Then I would lift them all up and take them off, and then I would come back and I would trace them all out. And then the last step that I would do is I would grab my paint, and I'm going to use this acrylic white. Here's on the wax paper. Yes, you can do that too. That's a good idea too. I'm going to grab this white paint and a paintbrush, and I'm just going to start painting it in. So you can see if you had gone from the top to the bottom and done the entire thing, you would at this point, all you'd have left to do is fill in your letters. I do like to use a stiff brush, and I usually use an angled brush for this, but unless you're getting into tight corners, it doesn't matter. Now, the very last thing I would do to this sign, I would paint snowflakes on around here and around the top, because you've got a 6-inch area. And then lastly, after I was all done and all my letters were transferred on, I would spray this with this spray. I'm going to show that to y'all. I would spray it with this clear coat. It is UV resistant, it is non-yellowing, and it will protect your sign. Thank you so much. Okay, so I've got 4 minutes. I'm going to recap really quick. If you want to watch an entire project like this done, I did it yesterday on a Facebook Live, and that is linked. I think it's at the very bottom of all the links that I gave you. I tried to give you all the supplies. Basically, anything I was asked in my Facebook Live yesterday, I tried to give you. Yes, I am going to paint the entire board in plaid. So I would just keep going up with a stencil, but I wanted to be able to show you every process that you would need to do the whole thing. So if I was asked yesterday, I tried to answer it in my links. So what you would do, paint your board red, then you would use your stencil, you would go all the way up, okay? Then blow dry it, or walk away, go have dinner and come back. Then you're gonna take and you're gonna tape down all of your letters, okay? Who is that? Paulette. I actually am painting with a trimmer. I paint with a trimmer, so it might look from there like I have a steady hand, but I'm shaking pretty bad. So I would tape down all my letters. I would trace them all out with my graphite paper and my pencil. Then I would come back with my Posca pen or a paint marker. I've also linked these. If I was doing the other side, I would use the black one, which the black works even better than the white. The last thing I would do is fill them in, and then I would spray my sign so that it would stay pretty for years to come. All right, so you can flip it back and forth. If you wanted to see me do this other side, that link is shared with you. And I've got links to the attachment templates and all of that. So let me show you the other side too, because this is a reversible porch leaner. So it says welcome on one side, and I even showed in that other video how to distress. All right, friends, so I think my time is about up. It's 4:59. Oh, didn't show. How do you think this would look in gray and white? I think it would look fabulous. And then maybe red letters. That would look awesome too. So thank y'all for joining me today. I'm gonna jump off. But I hope that y'all enjoy all the crafting today, and thank you so much for hanging out with me. Bye guys.